The following is a presentation of the Matt Talk Podcast Network.
You've always got time for short time.
Hey, it's Mario Lopez.
David Taylor.
Brent Metcalf. Johnny Hendricks. Tony Ramos. Bubba J.
Mike Golick.
Matthew Modine. The one and only Chael Sonnen. And you are listening to the one and only Short Time Wrestling Podcast by the often imitated and never duplicated Jason Bryant.
Like he runs a professional podcast business.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do, and that's why you screwed up my intro. Welcome to Weighing In Bonus Short Points, along with Andy Immel and Richard Hamilton.
Rip.
I'm Jason May. Bill Bryant will be joining us soon. Now, we're here in Tampere, Finland. It's a mashup of Weighing In with Andy Hamilton, bonus points with BDI, and Short Time with yours truly. Saw some crazy things today. Saw one of the greatest rounds of American wrestling. And we may or may not be joined by Bill May or Andrew Hips, depending on their degree of shyness or sobriety in at least one of their cases.
Andre
Whips, if you're familiar with his email, that's an inside joke. Anyway, Richard, sitting here to my right as we are at the Grillsison Steakhouse and Bar here in the lovely Hotel Cumulus Hapamamubuisto. I don't even know how to say it. I've got a nice big Hogarden here. And I think we ate Rudolph the other night. But, Richard, before we get into our general thoughts about Tampere, we saw history tonight, and we saw something that hasn't happened since before you were even born. A junior world team title from U.S. men's freestyle team. Thoughts, reflections?
Trying to make me feel young.
Well, Andy's older than me, so we're good here.
Thoughts, reflections. What more can you say? It was awesome. I don't know how else to put it. It was like crash, boom, bang. Gable Stevenson throwing dudes around. I don't even know.
Dayton Fix throwing dudes around.
Yeah, they all looked great. I mean, even in losing efforts in some of their cases, I don't know if I've ever seen a collective group of individuals just break opponents like they did.
I must break you.
Good opponents.
Good opponents.
Like world champs, world medalists.
Like after every match, there was always that moment where their opponent had to take 5 or 10, solid seconds on their back on the mat before they would get up. And in some cases, I think Gable went and tried to pick a guy up and bring him to the center. I mean, it was remarkable what they were able to do.
Andy, your thoughts, reflections, because this is your first, not just your first Junior Worlds, this is your first time you've ever left the great state of Iowa. I mean, the country, at least.
Iowa is its own country, correct?
It's like a whole nother country.
The People's Republic of Iowa.
Yeah. What's the IOC code for that?
PRI.
Very original. We're off to a great start. A whopping start, gentlemen.
Yeah, this is if this is your first time listening to the show, I'm sorry, but no, we're coming off a long day, so it's like 10 o'clock, 10:25 as we record this p.m. The sun's still in the sky. You could actually get a tan right now because the sun never sets here in wonderful Tampere, which is about 90 minutes north of what did we fly into? Helsinki, the capital city. So crazy day, 14-0 to get everybody into the finals, and then only 2 losses on the day. I mean, that's pretty impressive when you some days at the Junior World Championships you could be done in an hour, and we've been to those tournaments. We're like, well, what do we do the rest of the day? At this point, Richard, you're still processing photos. Andy, you've been writing stories. Taylor's up. Who knows where T Mills is at? She's doing some work. Women start tomorrow, but 7 of 8 place. The 7 of 8 medal, not place. Technically, everybody scored team points. Malik Heinzelman finished 9th. He got points. Or 8th, I believe.
He was 8th.
Yeah, 8th.
Put it in perspective.
Yeah.
Put it in perspective here. I've got the list. So we had 7 medalists, 3 champs, 3 silver, 1 bronze. I mean, people talk about that 2014 team about being fantastic. It had Kyle Snyder on it, world team member Thomas Gilman, 2-time junior medalist Aaron Pico. It had Gabe Dean.
Yeah, 2 of our current world teamers were on that team, and they didn't win the tournament.
Right. We didn't have a single champ that year. We had 6 medals out of 8 weight classes. I mean, but after that year, prior to that year, You go back and look at the medal count, it's low.
2, 1, 1, 1, 3, 2, 1. I mean, in some years, yeah, you go back to 2007, 10 years ago, Bubba Jenkins.
Yeah, but your wrestling fans, your college wrestling fans, I think can appreciate the success at this tournament. So these guys we saw today, you're going to see them wrestling on a big stage, at the NCAA tournament. Snyder, Daringer, Stieber, Chris Perry, Don Bradley, Jordan Oliver, Andrew Howe, Quentin Wright, Clayton Foster, Bubba Jenkins, Henry Cejudo. And that's just the past. Well, that was like a 10-year span, not even a 10-year span.
Oh, so basically, looking at this list, every medalist going back to 2007. Okay, who are not All-Americans? Let's see. Well, obviously, Pat McCaffrey was at 50 kilos. He actually ended up wrestling at the Naval Academy for a little bit. But at 50 kilos, you're kind of looking at that, and it's like, okay, Henry Cejudo was not a college All-American. He did okay for himself, though. Won an Olympic gold medal. But then we look,
they've all
Perry.
They've all All-American, except for the kids still in high school.
Spencer Lee, obviously, Nathan Butler or actually, did he place this year? I think he did, or did he not? I don't know. Can't remember.
Did he what?
Stanford, Nathan Butler was. It's off. I can't believe I'm bonking on an All-American right now.
I can't believe you are either.
You can go to the Matt Talk Almanac and figure that out real quick.
Pat McCaffrey, though, was a state champion in the People's Republic of Iowa.
Yeah, he tried. Didn't he go 3 years, 3 different? He tried to go 3 years, 3 different state titles, and
I think so.
Was ineligible. This is going to drive me nuts. People are probably screaming at the show right now. How do you not know Nathan Butler? He actually, Immel's going right to the Matt Talk Almanac, which patrons.
Now you're putting a lot of pressure on
of
me.
this page.
It's our
patrons of the Matt Talk Podcast Network at a certain level can actually get access to this sandbox.
I'm plugging your little promotion here.
Yeah,
you should be a Patreon member. I currently subscribe to the Patreon theory.
You're at the hat level too.
Yes,
you weren't just like give me the bare minimum and you get stuff because your show's on the network.
So let's talk about this. I invested myself as well as you.
Yes,
because I'm on the show. So that's
and not to be confused. Blood Round not on the network.
Blood Round not on the network. I've never been on that show. I don't know what I'm. So, but Nathan Butler was at heavyweight.
There's filters for this. You can actually search a lot easier than that.
Give me 1 sec.
I don't think Nathan Butler was.
I would have to say he was not.
Okay, so you could also search his name, Butler, right there. This is what now you're searching every. Anyway, this is bad podcasting.
We're losing credibility by the second.
Well, actually, I was right. I said he wasn't an All-American, so I'm right. So I went around my.
Nathan Butler is the one person not to All-American that has not already gone on to college. McKenna, Pico, Gilman, Dean, Snyder, Kuhn, Daringer, Downey, Stieber, Perry, Bradley, Oliver, Howe.
The right? Pat Downey.
I mean,
or it's now. What is it? It's the real Pat Downey. I don't even know what his Twitter handle is.
Leslie Gutchess, 1993.
Funky.
Have you ever called him Leslie to his face and lived? I'm guessing no, because you're still alive. How about Les Gutchess finishing like 4th in like the bodybuilding competition like last week?
Yeah, it was incredible. He texted me some photos, like 30 photos of him, like in his little.
Whatever, like he was wearing his eye patch.
Right.
The show is going to get better, folks, I assure you. We're going to talk wrestling here momentarily, but all right, back to you were talking about the quality of the competition, Junior Worlds, and what it means to NCAA competition.
Yeah, well, the point being here is we presumably won the world title in 1984. We don't know off the top of our head if they kept count because they don't show the team score on the database.
They show a rank overview, and the Soviet Union did not attend that year also.
Right. They did not attend, and also
they did not qualify.
The Soviet Union broke up in 1991, so from that point forward, the tournament got exponentially tougher because you add in all those countries.
Potentially up to 15, 16 republics.
So the field is essentially doubled just because of that at this tournament. So from 1991 on, I mean, that's why you see a decline in the medals.
Yeah, because and that 98 team is really one that we were looking at as possibly another. I went through and redid the points on that, and we were 3rd that year. Iran and Russia tied, and Russia had 5 champs, so they did pretty good. And that was
I think what we're
Prim.
Trying to get at that we are, not doing as great of a job of is that this is the best junior world team we've ever had in the United States. I don't think that's arguable.
At this point, no, because we've never had more than 2 champs in a year outside of that 84 season, which again was in Washington, D.C. the Russians, or at that time the Soviets weren't even here, and BDI wasn't even alive. So
correct.
Yeah, I was 5. Andy, you were probably what, 7?
8.
7 or 8. You got like 2-3 years on me. Anyway.
So how do you want to run this down? The rundown.
The rundown? I don't know. I think we're more. It's.
You got that rundown for me?
What
Office
it's like,
reference. Sorry, I forgot you don't watch The Office.
I watched.
Nah, it's okay.
I mean, remember the episode Kevin put his feet into the ice machine? He was wearing tissue boxes on his feet.
No, you remind me a lot of Kevin now that I think about it.
Hey, don't make me break out Scrantonicity on you. How about that reference?
Okay,
anyway.
So should we start with our champs? I'm trying to...
Yeah, Richard's going to moderate even though it's my show.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, I don't know. I should moderate. All right, champs. Dayton Fix and Gable Steveson today. Mark Hall yesterday. Wow. And we actually brought this up. Andy and I were actually talking basketball before we left, and we were talking about, killer backcourts, talking ACC hoops back in the day. It's like, yeah, Allen Iverson from, the Philadelphia 76ers, and, pretty good basketball player, if you know anything about basketball. And Tony Rutland, who was an all-ACC guard at Wake Forest. They were in the same high school backcourt at Bethel High School in 1991-92 when they won the state title. And as the same year, actually, Bethel won the state football title in Virginia. But now, if you haven't lost you yet, here it is. So then Andy goes, wow, you got Mark Hall and Gable Steveson were on the same high school team. 2 Junior World teams. I was like, what's better, the high school backcourt of Iverson and Rutland, or the twosome of Mark Hall and Gable Steveson? I was like, yeah. And Andy goes, I don't think those guys ever won any Junior World titles. So
there's
that was
one
where
group that I'm wanting in my corner if everything gets a little crazy.
It's Apple Valley High School.
Apple Valley High School, correct.
Although the other champ, Dayton Fix, in the confusing situation, went to Charles Page High School in Sand Springs, Oklahoma, but everybody refers to it as Sand Springs, and they're the Sandites.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I never understood. It was Sand Springs.
But it's Charles Page High School.
Sand Springs High School. Because they have an SS in their singlet, Sand Springs.
Yeah, anyway. By the way, one thing that Dayton Fix doesn't have that his dad does, a Cadet World Championship.
Junior.
No, Derek, his dad, has a Cadet World Championship.
Gotcha, okay.
Dayton now has the Junior World Championship, yeah. Back in 80, 83, year after Uncle Rico could have gone pro. So, Dayton we gave up one freaking point the entire time. 53-1. Andy, have you ever seen a freestyle performance like that?
Probably at like Fargo. Maybe.
Well, I don't think you're running into a Junior World champ in round 2.
Maybe like Carson Manville at regional tournaments this year, but Dayton Fix, unreal. I think the tone was set in the second round match where he faces a returning champ and takes him down before the guy could drop into his stance. Turns him twice. He's up 6-0, 40 seconds in, and it was over at that point. Totally took the life out of the guy. And, at that point, I mean, he looked like a man on a mission that scoring takedowns, getting to his stuff on top, turning people left and right, and, not giving up anything on his feet either.
I noticed our attacks off the whistle were top-notch today. Zahid was doing it, Gable was doing it, Dayton was doing it. I mean, they were all I could hear them in the corner because I was so close to the corner, and that was a focus. Use the whistle. Zeke kept saying use the whistle as a point of attack. So I noticed if you watch the Heat, he's going to that little ankle pick, or even just a half shot or a fake shot right off the whistle, and he's able to score off of it. Dayton got at least 2 of those shuck bys right off the whistle, right at the beginning of the match.
In the gold medal match.
Right, he did it in the gold, and I think he did it in one of his other ones too. And Gable,
that semi was 32 seconds.
Gable tries to get in a fight in the first 15 seconds.
He's like the junior Molinaro.
Right.
Somebody always punches Gable in the face in the first 10 seconds.
But you have no idea why. He's such a sweetheart on the mat.
I'd call him tenacious on the mat. Aggressive. Tenacious G. Do we have a new nickname? I don't know. I did drop Tenacious O in the broadcast last night.
How did your broadcast go?
That went pretty good, in case you're wondering. By the way, let's just back this up. Richard's here shooting photos for United World Wrestling and doing some things with his actual real job at USA Wrestling. Andy's here for his real job at Track Wrestling, and I'm just here. No, I'm actually here as doing the finals broadcast for, as Bill May would say, UWW, UWW. So we're all here having various different roles. But, broadcast I thought went pretty good the last two nights. World Championship, so I've got to be a little lighter on the inside jokes and maybe the pop culture references because our friends in Kazakhstan may not watch The Office. Or
probably not. I mean, who knows? They might have Netflix.
By the way, I'm wondering, Richard, because of all the chatter we had in Fargo about Game of Thrones, which I admittedly don't watch yet, we can actually say this now. You can actually say the men's freestyle team is
Kings in the North.
I don't know if Andy watches the show.
Nope. Well, that fell flat.
He's eating Rudolph. He's eating Rudolph right now. Andy
pork.
Yes, I thought that would have been a perfect headline. Kings in the North, leader of the Free Kingdoms, and
So who was kinglier today?
Who was kinglier? Yeah, I wonder if anyone noticed that in my Fargo article.
Yeah. Anyway,
who was kinglier? I think Fix was king of the day.
I mean, gave up 1 point. Andy came up with a stat, and we mentioned this on Facebook Live. Bill May wants to call time. Yes, Bill.
Plus tomorrow morning, 8:30.
All right, 8:30. Okay, I can actually
moving it back again. Moving it back to 8:30.
Yeah.
This is how we work on our communications and our transportation because we're about 10 minutes from the arena. It's a $25 cab ride. It's not cheap. Nothing is cheap here. I'm drinking a $10 beer. Andy, how much was freaking? What's the pig from Charlotte's Web? I don't even know. Wilbur. Yeah, that's some pig. How is
young?
How is some pig?
Some pig somewhere.
We got to hear first night. We had the meat was gamey. We're like, this is probably Rudolph.
Yeah. So back to the wrestling. I think
Pinch
that's
of
probably
Prancer.
what people want to listen to, right?
I don't know. One of our better episodes was us just enjoying the fair at a Buffalo Wild Wings, which isn't quite
that wasn't
Finland.
because of my name on the podcast.
Andy's over here going, what the hell did I get myself into?
Me too.
Last time Andy was on a show with us, we were talking Billy Ripken baseball cards.
Completely off the rails.
Yeah.
That's every episode I'm in with Jason. That's the title. Off the rails.
That should, we were going to try to come up with a show that was just us talking. And I was like, who would listen to that? Kind of like now. Why are you listening?
Right,
No.
but we normally have at least an outline of where we want to go with things.
Well, I sent you an outline for my Fargo preview show, and I ended up doing that by myself, and it was 51 minutes.
Here's the thing. He wanted to do a preview show, and he sent me the list of things that was like 3 pages long. That's
it was 900 words as an outline. No, it's like my memories of Fargo the last 19 years. Well, you take 19 years, you got to wrap them all up. I mean, the seminal moment of the whole thing was the turf burning down last year.
Yeah. How was the turf?
I stopped by the parking lot and raised my glass and took my wrestling shirt of the day picture with the turf mug.
Oh, yeah. How many days are you up to?
113, I think, 114.
You didn't cheat one day?
No, I've not cheated. I haven't even done the whole take a picture, like 5 pictures in a row thing in different places around my house and post them as different days. I've thought about it, but I'm like, no, that's not legit. And I have to wear the shirt at least for like 3 hours. It's not like I put a shirt on, take a picture, and take it off.
Right.
And I work from home, so that's typically what I wear to work anyway.
Okay, so what was your favorite match of the day? Because I think Gable versus the Russians?
Yeah, favorite for the wrong reasons, because you're like, okay, how are they going to try to screw him here? I mean, he's up by like 7 and like 2 cautions against. You're like, wait, well, what? Richard had an earful or actually got an interesting angle from the Matt Chairman, which
correct
may or may not explain here, but
no, it was what'd they do? They did 2 caution and 2s against Gable early in the mat, maybe before the 2-minute mark.
Right before the break. It was in the 3rd minute.
Right, 3rd minute. So Gable got a fleeing the mat call. He's up
9-2.
9-2 at this point.
He was up 9-2. Yep.
9-2, and then he got a fleeing the mat call, and then that's a caution and 2, made it 9-4. Then he got another one for the, same sort of situation, but he was attacking, and then the Russian took him out of bounds, basically. Then they gave him
gigantic Russian.
Yeah, he was mammoth.
There is if this guy's going to try to push into you, you really have no recourse but to be like, ugh. So,
anywho, it was a little odd that he
questionable.
got 2 caution and 2s for fleeing, associated with stalling for you non-freestyle folk. After he already put up 9 points, and I get it's not the same thing, but it was odd to have that happen in like a 30-second time frame. And the chairman, who I believe was from Taipei, called them over and had a little discussion, and
kind of gave him that look of like, whatever, dude.
Yeah, the look of
the international
really?
sign for whatever.
Well, he asked him 3 or 4 times, you scored what? You scored what? Caution and two, like with the question inflection. I'm doing hand gestures and people can't hear that. But the point being, he put a little hush-hush to that, and the match continued. But that was a great match. Very physical.
Then they went out of bounds again, and Gable hit his head.
Right.
So suddenly it goes from 9-2, one more caution, and he's DQ'd, and it's 9-7. And then he got the takedown right before the end of the period.
Well, and he also asked the referee, I got hit in the head, I landed, and the referee's like, so? It's like, man, they're really quick to let a guy pull up his nose plug from countries that may or may not have been a part of a giant country that takes up 13 time zones, but somebody gets dropped on their dome, or in like Burrow's case in Tashkent, tears or strains their MCL or whatever it was, or meniscus, or seriously injured, and they're like, no.
Okay, I know what we need to go over. We need to go over opening from the bottom position, grabbing the fingers.
Yeah.
That was a situation in 2 of our finals matches. The first one being Dayton Fix's final match. He's on top, and 3 or 4 occasions where he's on top, the Russian wrestler is underneath from bottom, closed off, grabbing fingers or wrists and keeping it tight. And
just pulling it down so he's not able to lock up a gut wrench.
Correct. So the rule is you're supposed to open up from bottom, and that means you're not grabbing the fingers. I mean, you can fight for a brief second, and they'll normally let you get away with it, but you have to open and present yourself. It's
or
more prevalent in Greco.
Flatten out.
Right, you have to present, flatten out. So, yeah.
Video team saying what's up?
Point being, the mat official asked for caution 2 every occasion, and I got white paddled both times. So I didn't actually speak to one of our officials about this situation, but for me, that's caution and 2, anytime I've seen it. Now, Zahid's, on the other hand, I do believe was the correct call.
Yeah, Andy's actually got...
Yeah, why don't you go ahead with that one?
Insight on that one.
I asked Zeke Jones about it afterward, and we'll have the video up on Track Wrestling of that probably by the time most people listen. But he explained that it's sort of counterintuitive to what transpires in college wrestling, where you're taught to peel the hands there. He said, if you grab
4 fingers here and peel away,
and you cannot peel them away from the body, or it is a caution there. Then I asked Zeke, I said, so what's a guy supposed to do there? And he said, well, I guess you're supposed to grab by the wrists and peel away. You cannot grab the fingers and peel away.
Or you can go to a quad pod and try to fight a gut wrench. I think that's what most people do in that situation. So that was two major things that stood out. But you know what? I think one thing we need to talk about is our unsung hero of the day, Ryan Deacon. Now he,
yeah, Andy and I were mentioning on we did a Facebook Live right before the finals, and we're saying, look at the names out there. We got Dayton Fix, Gable Steveson, Saeed Valencia, Ryan Deacon. One of those is not like the other, at least coming out of high school.
He was 5th in Fargo a year ago.
He won Greco.
Yeah, 5th in freestyle.
Freestyle. So he has
from Colorado.
He went to the first college tournament was the Eastern Michigan Open, and he didn't place. And what was funny, I was talking to Matt Storniolo a little bit afterward, and he was saying that he joked around with Deacon after the semifinals. He says, this tournament's way easier than the Eastern Michigan Open.
Well, and to top that almost, Andrew Hips had pointed out that Gable Steveson had lost twice at the Intermat JJ Classic a couple years ago. So For all you folk stylers out there that want to take your shot at freestyle, well, here's your opportunity. The Eastern Michigan Open and the Intermat JJ Classic, both tougher than the Junior World Championships.
Yes, I never won either of those events.
I never won any. I was second at the Bethel Open.
Oh, that's good. That's classic. These Gable photos are turning out well.
Yeah, as Richard's sitting here using Adobe Lightroom on his Mac with a nice little Matt Talk sticker on it. You can get some bonus point stickers.
You know, I don't think I can. The logo, I think, everything I have to put on our merchandise or anything I distribute has to be USA Wrestling. I've tried before because I wanted to get like some bonus point polos or something to hand out as souvenirs, but it didn't go through. I didn't fight that hard for it.
Well, so if we were to come up with like the long and short of it, we could give those out because those aren't affiliated with either of our respective companies.
Right. If I had a private podcast where we could talk about Game of Thrones every week and
we wouldn't have that show.
Bill May's rankings every week, which are awesome.
There's already a show that complains about Bill May's rankings all week. A couple of them, actually.
I have no problem. You know what? Bill actually listens to me when we discuss rankings, and we have good back and forth, I think. You know, and
if you want to understand Bill, he was actually a guest on one of the Matt Talk podcast shows in Dortmund, Germany at the Guillotine Grapevine. So go over to theguillotine.com and check out the native Minnesotan. He's sitting here shadowing us right now and just listening to these three Yanks complain about everything. Because that's apparently Richard found out in Buenos Aires that Americans, all we do is complain.
Yes, I was told by Sebastian. Sebastian lives in Switzerland.
He's like the Justin Tritz of UWW with their software.
The IT for UWW. He goes on the cab ride home from Cadet Pan Ams. Richard, you don't complain enough. You go to work, you do your job, you help out, you don't complain. And was that Russian? That was maybe a little Russian accent. That's my bad. He's more French.
He's French. He speaks French.
So it's like,
well, he's French.
Okay, he's.
Monsieur, you do your job. You do not. Wow. Now we're just crossing some. Gotta be careful here. Some ethical and.
But he says
ethnical questions, so to speak.
Oh, it's funny. I got here and Davidas, who's also on the IT team. He said, you're at German. We were at lunch, right? And he goes, yeah, Richard's German. He's not American anymore. So, also, if you have made it this far, send Jason and I the kind of flag you would like to see on our credential because we're trying to come up with cool flags. I picked Bhutan or Burundi.
Well, we obviously understand Burundi because its initials are BDI.
Yeah, but Bhutan's
got a dragon.
It's got a dragon on it.
I mean, it looks like the menu at a Chinese restaurant.
It looks like the Tartarian.
Wow, I'm really going ethnic here. I should really watch myself. It's the year of the dragon.
I am now looking for employment.
Yeah, so, well, this is my show, not yours. I can't fire you.
Associated with Jason.
Yeah, that's the best thing about working for yourself. Anyway, so, Bhutan, I'm looking for something that doesn't infringe on Richard's ideas. Perhaps we can, I don't know, maybe you can talk them into making like a flag for like Hodor or whatever those little Game of Thrones things are.
Hodor?
How many are there?
Hodor. That's all he says is Hodor. That's the only word he can say.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Remember, this is the guy who mixed up a Lord of the Rings reference with Game of Thrones.
We can't take him anywhere.
Andy's like, yeah, it's my show. So anyway, can we get back? Okay, what do we need to do to get back on the rails here? We're talking about, yes, if you're listening this far, send me and Richard notes about which flag we should have on our credentials because right now we've got 4 Americans sitting around a table.
That seems like a joke waiting to happen.
Well, in Finland. By the way, speaking of Finland.
Okay, you know what we can talk about? Mark Hall. We haven't
Mark Hall, yeah.
Yet. Go ahead.
Yeah, because that was yesterday. That's like ancient history.
Yeah, well, let's go back to yesterday because that set the stage.
Yesterday!
Mark Hall, man among boys. That's all I got to say.
2-time junior world champ.
Cadet world champ.
Yeah.
NCAA champ.
6-time
Minnesota
high school state champ.
How about Minnesota's high school wrestling this week?
Yes.
One loss.
We can't forget that.
What would Minnesota have placed in this tournament? Okay, we can Hall, Stevenson,
McKee. Don't forget
29
McKee.
points. What does 29 points place you in freestyle? I think
high.
4th.
Pretty high.
Maybe 4th. I don't have to look at Twitter to see. I did tweet the team scores out at Jason M. Bryant.
6th place was 32.
32. So we're not top 6.
Did I just pull an Andrew Hips and lose my phone? Oh, no, it's right here.
I thought I saw a funny tweet. Minnesota, or I'm sorry, it was from a Minnesota guy. And it said, Illinois, you can keep your Fargo titles. We're out here chasing world titles. Burn.
Ooh, burn.
Yeah, the T-shirt.
I was going to get you the Game of Thrones shirt, but I ruined it. I covered it in red clay from going
Shout out to Minnesota for hooking me up.
four-wheeling for that.
So, Mark Hall.
Yeah.
Battle proof.
Hold on. You guys commence. I have to send the video.
Are in the finals.
I
mean, how do we not bring that up?
Talk amongst yourselves. I have a Brock Heights, Johnny on the spot with a correction that I need to send out to the video team.
Should we just pause it?
No, just keep talking.
Well, I mean, I feel like we're leaving you out.
No, it'll take me 3 seconds to type this up, so go ahead. You and Andy talk about Mark Hall.
Go ahead, Andy.
They're talking about Mark Hall.
Have you ever seen anyone who looks totally unfazed in every situation? I mean, he's like most guys, 99.9% of guys are getting taken down when an opponent has both legs like they do, and he looks like, no big deal, I'm going to score here.
Yeah, you're right. His face doesn't change, and I noticed he wrestles. He mentioned earlier in the day, like I guess after his semifinal match, that he wasn't feeling his offense very well. But his defense, he always feels comfortable there, that he can score off of someone else's attacks. And I think he used that to his advantage. He seemed to have a European style, where he lets people in. Had no problem. There were people had him dead to rights. 2 legs covered, and he'd end up scoring. Much like Gable today. Gable was 5 feet in the air, and he scored 2 off of that. Got tossed and scored 2.
The Iranian was in, 4 times on Hall in this?
I mean,
I think like the 3rd or 4th time he got in on a shot, and he just froze. Like, where do I go from here?
Right.
Because Hall's, 2 of his first 3 takedowns came off scramble counters.
Well, his movement is so different in those positions. He puts his weight in different areas that people don't normally do. But it also goes kind of hand in hand with the Penn State sort of way they teach their philosophy.
Can we say fun on the show?
Yes.
We allowed to say fun?
We are allowed to say fun.
F*N.
I also put a funny video on my Twitter of the Kazakhstan team playing dodgeball / keep away / soccer. And
you're talking about with Zahid dropping 30-footers in the gym the other day. How about we were walking past the Georgian heavyweight yesterday, and he's warming up playing basketball. Pretty good low post. I think the T-Wolves could use a guy for that.
Use a PA guy too, I hear.
Wouldn't know anything about that. Shh.
Anywho.
Because if I don't get it, I'm going to be really annoyed. Okay, Bill May's question, he's off mic, he's asking us how we would compare him to Frank Chamizo. I think Chamizo's got more flash, maybe a step quicker, but I think Hall's scrambling ability to and not his funk, but his scrambling ability to never look like he's in trouble. Maybe his poise is slightly better. I think Chamizo is quicker. I think talent level, I think it's hard to distinguish between the two because, remember, Hall's just a junior. Chamizo's a couple years at senior level. So I'd say, I don't know. How do you answer that question, Richard?
Well, my thing with Chamizo is he'll let guys hang around in the match. He's very freakish. He can, like Hall, I think you draw a comparison there, that he can get himself in and out of situations that most people would not be able to. But I think the difference right now is Chamizo's got the ability at the end of matches, no matter what, he's got a killer instinct where if he needs to get a takedown, he can get a takedown. But Mark, I don't know if he got really tested to that limit this week. Obviously we've seen it, NCAA finals and, in college, past. The Azerbaijan semifinal last year kind of rings a bell. But I think Chamizo's really got it down to an art where he can get it done in the last 10 seconds no matter how far behind he is. So That's probably just comes with a little time and development. But Mark's right there. But technique-wise, I think style-wise, I think you do have a point. And I never thought about that, actually. But good on you, Bill. That's why you do the rankings.
Thoughts, reflections?
No, I mean, I think you guys summed it up about like I would. I just initial instincts, thinking, when I think of Frank Chamizo, I think of fast twitch and like high octane. Like I think of the 2015 World Finals where he had to go get points and did. Mark Hall, I think the guy's rattle proof, and I think more of a. It's weird to talk about a guy that just finished his true freshman season in
year.
college as like a savvy veteran, but that's what I think of when I think of Mark Hall. Just a guy that is well beyond his years in terms of his wrestling IQ and just his demeanor too.
Well, don't discount what the year at Penn State did to him. He was clearly a different guy from last year to this year. And you could say the same thing about Zahid and McKee.
Well, he also went from, not placing at Junior Worlds to being, he was a training partner in Tashkent for Burroughs.
Correct. No.
So
Vegas.
But no, he was in Tashkent. Him and Pico were in Tashkent. So they got a chance to scrap a little bit back in 2014. Not sure whether or not they got the Tashkent Rumble or not.
Everyone did.
Everybody did.
No need to bring it up every podcast we do together.
This portion of the program brought to you by Imodium AD and Dr. Bernie Feldman's Bag of Tricks. Anyway, what do actually I asked Andy this morning.
No, sorry, before you go there.
Okay.
No, you mentioned Hall, and we were talking about the year in the college room, but you said Hall did not place his first year. He was coming off a Cadet World title.
Right. Took
his
9th.
First year junior, he did not place. And you're talking about Zahid Valencia, who twice didn't place. And on all these guys that... Good night. Yes, that's what Bill says. But think about what Gable Stevenson...
Internationally, they don't know what microphones mean.
No. But back to the point. I think people don't realize Gable Stevenson manhandled every single person he wrestled in the junior division as a 17-year-old cadet.
First-year cadet. Third-year cadet.
Third-year cadet.
Which is actually not a thing in the U.S. age system because you're going to be a cadet 2 years.
Right.
But internationally,
He's eligible to wrestle at the Cadet Worlds.
He's just outgrown the weight class.
Too big. But the point being is those guys that had to adjust to the next level, Gable came out and tore the next level up. Like, not one, he tore it up. No one was close to him the entire day.
Close 61-11.
Right, and 10 of those were...
One match, 4 of those weren't even real points.
Right. Jinx.
Fake news, fake points, hashtag fake points.
Yeah. Point being...
Hashtag fake point
the
being.
guy is the real deal, and does he still have 2 more years of high school?
No, just 1.
Just 1 year of high school? Okay, I forget.
That's going to be a lot of fun for high school heavyweights in Minnesota, huh?
I don't, like if I could get an extra year of high school eligibility, even at my age, no, I'm not gonna. No.
You'd forfeit to him.
I would totally I'd self slam like DF, and I might try to lose by disqualification, so it's more fulfilling to say I didn't get pinned by a freaking kid 20 years my junior. Doesn't that make you weird? Just think about the if you go out there and try to wrestle somebody now, and just realize that wow. Somebody 20 years old, 20 years younger than me could totally crush you. It's demoralizing to think about your own physical prowess or lack thereof. Not saying I was good or anything, but I don't think anybody 20 years younger than me should be doing anything better than me at all. Oh, wait, wrestling. Yeah, you're 17, you could crush me. With one arm behind your back.
So that was my point. Gable's a man, and he's only 17.
I might be able to beat him with a bat.
I doubt it.
Spike bat. Maybe a mace.
I don't have faith in
a mace, a club.
Where do you want to take this now?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with ways to beat a 17-year-old kid. That's illegal in most states.
Good thing we're not in the States right now.
Oh, yeah. We're in the state of confusion. Bill looks like he has got
a glass case of emotion.
Yeah. Bill looks like he's got a quizzical look upon his face.
No, I'm just looking for other comparisons. Gable and Josh Feely.
Yeah, Geno. Yeah, he's that guy's a beast in terms of. We're talking Petriashvili, the Georgian heavyweight, who is build cannot be any more different than Gable's. So you're talking about a guy that's just a horse, lanky, powerful.
What about Lopez?
Freaks. And then, there's what's maybe I think Stevenson's best comparison is probably a Greco guy. It's probably the Turk. Man, Reza Kayal, short, squatty, powerful, technically savvy.
I could go with that.
You can go with that?
Yeah, I can go with this.
I could subscribe to that theory, where I think I tapped him out of all the Hogarden here. Anyway, Ryan Deacon, we talked about that. Malik Heinzelman came out, won a match. Got some. You look at valuable team points. Think Heinzelman doesn't win that match. He doesn't place top 10. This team doesn't win the world championship.
He was down in the quarterfinals.
He was down against Horst Lehr from Germany. He was a junior European bronze medalist. What? Lehr. Horst Lehr.
We're just making fun of you. It's okay. We didn't talk about.
Why don't you go say Gadzamed Murad Magomedov Saidov say 15 times a day and see how you feel?
I didn't sign up for that job.
Okay.
So, did we talk about Mitch McKee yet?
Well, we were on that route about how many points Minnesota would have scored. Actually, that's where I got sidetracked.
29, right?
29 points. Yeah, I think they would have been fourth. If I can, again, use the social of media webs. This is the part where you're supposed to fill time rather than looking at me stumble through my telefono.
I guess you're just going to have to edit this.
No, I'm not. I was using the GIFs or the GIFs today and quite good passion to say so. They would have been tied for sixth with Armenia. Technically, they would have been sixth by themselves because there were two champs ahead of Armenia's 0. So Minnesota Storm, 6th place. Where are you at now, Illinois? Pete Kowalczyk is going to just beat the crap out of me next time he sees me because of that. Yeah, well.
Yes.
As we move forward, Malik scored some points, won a match in his trip out here. Colin Moore with a bronze medal.
Colin Moore looked really good.
Guy that's still a freestyle noob.
Yeah, he hasn't done that many freestyle tournaments. Maybe 4 or 5. He looked phenomenal, though. He was getting to his attacks. He had trouble in the semi, but he sort of shot himself out of the match. And I think he got a little banged up.
I just think that guy was just a little better than he was.
That too.
I mean, I don't think he's a lot better than he is, but I think he's enough better, where especially in freestyle, that knowing some of the positions and just the attacks, he's big explosive guy. So, coming out there and then beating an Asian champion right away, it's like, okay, this guy came to wrestle. So Colin Moore was impressive.
Well, didn't he 10-0 everyone except for the semi?
Yeah, he did pretty good.
Yeah, he did. I mean,
he had a 10-5 match, I think.
Oh, a 10-5. Yeah, well,
he was down. He was down at the break in one of those matches. Then he scored 3 takedowns, I think, against the Iranian, and came back and 3 takedowns after the break to blow it open.
Comeback of the day goes to Ryan Deacon, though.
Yeah, down 6-0.
Mongolia. Yeah, that was a great one.
Down 6-0. Basically wins at 6-6, and then Mongolia throws the YOLO brick. Or speaking of brick, what the heck is that thing? It's like a swimming noodle.
A pool noodle.
It's like a pool noodle with a head on it, and when you move it, it goes. Wah, 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 wah. That's the sound it makes. I'm not going to do that again, in case you're wondering. And as you also know, that the funny challenge bricks originated here in Finland with Angry Birds a couple years ago.
Aren't they? Are they? Yeah. What are those?
It's a Finnish toy. It's a toy from here.
I was thinking it was a dragon. It had like a hook and like pointy ears.
It's a swimming noodle emblem of Bhutan. Richard's leaning back on the. By the way, we're on a leather couch and a round table here at Grilson again in Finland.
Yeah, and it's late actually.
Yeah, as we're
still up, but it's
the sun's still up. It's still you can still get a little bit of sunburn. You got to be careful. As we're just sitting here talking wrestling at a bar actually it's a restaurant, the hotel restaurant. We're not like out at a pub just getting plastered. That's for the days that we don't do well. We might do that. Well, I might do that because I've actually got to work in the evenings. But I might edit this part out. I might not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going to post this thing.
Well, that's the thing. We're just sitting here talking wrestling, just like this is our homage to Blood Round. You know, 3 people talking about wrestling really don't know what the heck they're doing.
This is our own episode of Blood Round. Just finished my Gable photos. Got to tweet those out. Those
yeah.
Nice.
Hashtag Tampere 2017.
You want to look at the photos?
So,
sure.
coverage on the mat.com, coverage at UnitedWorldWrestling.org, coverage at TrackWrestling.com. There's still Ken Chertow's face on MattTalkOnline.com. and other than that...
You know what I would say? I would say that we have women going tomorrow.
Yep.
And the next day, and then Greco after that. And hopefully we can replicate our success we saw in the first 2 days. Be tough to do, but I think we have some good young talent, and especially looking at the Greco team. You know, our women are typically tough, and they're getting tougher at the age levels. But our Greco team has 4 or 5 guys that could potentially win a medal. Which
was the last time that happened? Yeah,
2 of them that already have.
2 of them have won a medal, and 3 others at least. That I'm familiar with.
And one's going to be wrestling over here in Paris in a couple weeks too.
Correct. Yeah. So our senior
correct
team member.
Correct throw.
Correct throw.
Correct throw. Do not climb over that railing.
Oh.
So what we've got is what we may do is if we have, a successful women's tournament, we come back, do another show here from the leather couch. And same with the Greco. Although Greco, I'm going to figure out how the heck I'm going to get back to Helsinki for a 7:00 flight the next morning. But I know I took the wrong train to get here, but I got here. But anyway, I think that might wrap it up for this off the rails episode of Short Time.
Andy, do you have any final thoughts or reflections? Is excitement building for tomorrow?
Excitement builds for...
What's a rising star we could watch out for?
That's a good question.
Then just go back to the thoughts.
Go with the Republic of Iowa's Rachel Waters as your dark horse pick tomorrow.
People's Republic of Iowa.
People's Republic of Iowa. The Democratic People's Republic of Iowa.
Yeah, she's got
Story County. I think she's Story County. Maybe she's Polk County. Right on the border.
She's Ankeny, right?
Yeah, Ballard High School. Huxley,
yeah.
OSU Cowboy Wrestling just tweeted me. I feel like that...
Is that hard for you as a Sooner?
No, it's not hard for me. I just, thought it would be kind of funny if I said that on the show. Like one of those hell froze over kind of moments. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that?
Well, it's the last
on
time
your
Andy,
show?
Yeah, my show you can say whatever the hell you want.
On your show. Yeah.
No parental advisory. Hell's not going to get the explicit tag.
Yes. So yeah, that's all I
Unless we talk about somebody's track wrestling code.
Yeah.
Stay classy,
okay.
San Diego.
So I got to post some photos. Go check them out. They're awesome. Not to toot my own horn, but I like them mainly because the guys are winning and
Iran.
They are awesome.
Yeah,
they're quite good.
Thank you.
Tell you what, your focus and energy behind the camera.
You know what? The quality of the photos.
You've qualified yourself as a darn good photographer.
Never satisfied.
I tell you, Immel. Hay is for horses.
Hey.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Good night, everyone.
Yeah. Hey, say
You've
good.
always got time.
Say good night, Richard.
Good night, Richard.
Rock on. No, thank you for listening to us ramble on incoherently because you've always got time for Short Time. For Bill May, Andy Hamilton, the not present Andrew Hips, and BDI, I'm Jason Bryant. We'll see you in Tampere later on.
This show is part of the Matt Talk Podcast Network. For more wrestling podcasts,
head over to MattTalkOnline.com.